But behind the protests, I would never suggest that individual Canadians are paid. They're all, people sign online petitions and go to protests based on their own decisions. But behind the protests are paid organizers. That's what's new. That's what's different about activism today, is that it's orchestrated.
Don't Canadian environmentalists have the right to take money from whomever they want to make their argument? I mean, you've got the oil industry who's spending lots of money to promote its side of the argument.
The problem with the whole campaign, Wendy, is that it's not helping the environment, right? Because benching Canada, bullying Canada is what is happening out of the oil market. It doesn't keep oil in the ground. It just means that another country produces the oil. And that's the problem with this campaign, is that it's not helping the environment. The tar sands campaign has not kept one barrel of oil in the ground. It just means that another country is producing that and supplying the oil market instead of Canada. Investment in the Canadian oil sector is down by tens of billions of dollars. That money is now going into the US oil industry.
There's a federal election coming. You said that you see the potential of this debate tearing our country apart. What do you mean by that?
I do. I'm terribly concerned. I think most of the rest of Canada vastly underestimates and misunderstands the anger here in Alberta. And Albertans are frustrated because they feel that other provinces aren't playing fair. They want the benefits, the transfer payments that come from Alberta, but they're not willing to help Alberta to, in fact, develop its industries and generate that money in the first place. So I think it's a fair concern, and I think it needs to be taken seriously.
Your critics say that you're biased, that you make a living by giving speeches to the oil industry, and that therefore your motives need to be questioned.
Well, people can question my funding. That's fair. That's a fair question. In fact, long before anyone ever did, I felt myself that I needed to disclose, what small amounts I was getting. I think the first time it was $2,500. And I thought, in fairness, I'm asking questions about other people's funding. It's only fair that I disclose my own. If you look at what I've earned over the last 7 years, it's about $200,000, which is a lot of money. Over 7 years, though, it's not much. That's why I'm honest about it.